everybody, I hope you've been having an awesome day. My name is Emma and I'm so excited to be teaching you all about art and storytelling. So the whole point of this guild is to help you develop the skills you need to really keep your audiences engaged when you've got important things to say. So before anything else, I wanted to get into why we're learning about any of this. And we'll tackle that with the two concepts that make up this guild. So first we're going to talk about storytelling because we're basically going to be using art to help tell our stories. So why do we tell stories? Well, people have been telling stories since about when people first started talking. And that was for a couple reasons. People use stories to help learn history, to learn what happened in the past. They can use stories to help learn right from wrong, to learn why stealing is bad and why helping other people is good. Stories can mostly be used to help, in this day and age, engage audiences, to get people interested in super important things. Because we're going to listen to a narrative that has like a beginning, middle, and end more than we're just going to listen to random facts. But most importantly, stories are super fun to tell. So let's talk about art now. Why we're doing art and storytelling together. And I should add that art is a super broad term that can mean visual art, performing art like dancing and plays, and music. Those are all art forms. But this guild will mostly be talking about visual art, art that you can see. And this kind of art can be used in a lot of different ways. It can be used to add visual information to something. Like if you're not exactly clear on what a character or a place looks like in a book, an art piece can help you understand that. Art can also make things more interesting. If there's a nice sparkly picture next to something you're reading, people are going to be more willing to read it and pay attention. Another very important thing about art is that it can be used to express ourselves. And I don't mean just tell people how we're feeling. A lot of people find it much easier to express themselves through art than through words. There are a lot of people who have a very hard time talking to other people, but have a lot easier time drawing. And again, the very most important thing is that art is super fun to make. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, let's get into some of the basics of storytelling that we'll all need to know going forward. The three main things I want to address right now are the setting, characters, and the plot of your story. So let's go through each of these one by one. So the setting is where your story happens, where it takes place. It can be a magical kingdom, it can be a high school, it can be a forest, it can be wherever you want it to be. Now the characters of your story, they are what perpetuate the motion. They're what drives the plot forward. They make things happen and make things interesting. And that leads us into plot, which are the actual events that make your story a story. Make it interesting, make things happen. Now, the plot is really more of a secondary thing in this list because the plot is what happens when the characters interact with their setting or the characters interact with each other in their setting. So you really need the first two items here before you can get to the plot. So these are the very basic things you need to know going forward. And going forward, we'll get deeper into each of them. We'll get deeper into settings, character, and plot. But this is what you need to know right now. Alright, now it's time for you guys to try some of this stuff out yourself. What I want you guys to do is to come up with your own short story. It doesn't have to be super long. You don't have to write an entire book. But you can make it as long as you really want to. It needs to have a clear beginning, middle, and end, a part where you introduce what's happening, things happen, and then whatever conflict you have gets resolved. And after you come up with this story, I really want you to try and draw either a character from your story or something from the setting. Maybe if there's a magical type of tree, try and draw that tree. Or you can pick your favorite character that you came up with and draw them. When we meet up again, I want you to share your story and your drawing and explain how your setting piece or your character was important to your story and what happened in it. I want you to take this as some time to really experience some creative freedom and just come up with whatever you want to. And I can't wait to see it when we get back. All right, I'll see you guys in a little while.